Today we're going to be playing a game of Are These Dupes? This series was formerly known as These Multichromes Are Not Dupes But Might As Well Be. I decided to change how I approach this series. I really only have my skin tone as reference. I know depending on your skin depth and undertone, differences can be more or less pronounced. So what I'm going to do is I will swatch them, describe them to you, do some eye swatches. You can do what you will with that information, and maybe in the comments we can decide if we think these are dupes or not. So basically I went through my collection and pulled 6 pairs of shades that I believe are pretty much identical in practice. And we're just going to take a closer look at them. I will put an asterisk next to any of the shades that were gifted to me from the brands. I try not to buy a lot of dupes intentionally, but some of these I did buy both of the shades in the pair. So let's go ahead and start. 2 shades from Terra Moons. We have Butterfly Nebula and Oppy. Both of these are the flaky formula from Terra Moons that smooths out easily, and they both shift from pink to gold to green. Butterfly Nebula is ever so slightly flakier, and it doesn't have a base as far as I'm aware. Don't quote me, it's kind of hard to tell with the extra flaky shade. It does not appear to have a base. I think it's an iridescent, and it's a little bit more shiny, but it also has some sparkle to it. And then Oppy has a similar flaky texture. It's just a little bit less flaky and it smooths out a little bit more easily. This is most similar to the texture of the Cosmos if you're familiar with that. And the main difference is that it has a very soft, very pale pastel like teal base, and it's hard to see in the pan, but it does affect how it applies. And I don't know if you have a different skin tone than me, maybe this difference is more pronounced. So I had not swatched these side by side on my eyes, and in my head they were a lot more similar than I imagined. I still do think they are really similar, but in the eye swatches I do detect more of a difference. Butterfly Nebula comes across a lot more translucent and you see that pink shift more prominently, whereas with Oppy it's overall a lot softer and you do detect that sheer like light teal base coming through. So let me know in the comments if you think these are dupes, almost dupes, or not even close. Okay, next up we have Blaze from Clionadh, which I did repan into a circle pan, and Tucana from Devinah. I think these are going to be the closest out of everything. So both of these have like a tan base and they shift from pink to orange to gold. Blaze from Clionadh is one of their glitter multichromes, and it has a medium particle size, smooths out very easily, and the finish is pretty sparkly but not excessively textured. It also seems to apply in more of an opaque layer. I'd say this is a little bit more user-friendly out of the two. And the biggest difference to me is I detect a lot more of an orange presence in Blaze. It just reads a lot more warm tone. And the base does appear to be a little bit more prominent. Whereas with Tucana, by the way, this one had a lot of hard pan. I had to take it off with tape. I don't know, has anyone else experienced that with the sparkly shades from Devinah? It has a lot less of a base. It seems to be just sparkle suspended over a sheer base. It's very sparkly in the finish. I don't really see as much orange. I see more of a soft pink to gold with that tan, and this has a larger particle size and it's not quite as soft feeling. Both of these are really beautiful and wearable, everyday friendly shades in my opinion. Some of the most neutral adjacent multichromes that I know of. Let me know, what do you think? Do you think these are dupes? Which one do you like better? We have Antares from Terra Moons and Storm from Devinah, and I have a lot of shades like this, but I chose these two because they seem to have a very similar prominent hot pink base, and then they shift from gold to green to teal. Antares from Terra Moons is very smooth and creamy and easy to work with. It has a relatively small particle size, and I'd say like the base is very prominent. It's a hot warm pink, and then the shifts are from a muted gold to green to teal, and then from a harsh angle you do see a little bit of blue, but I'd say in a realistic setting you're mostly just going to see the gold green teal. And Storm from Devinah, the base is a lot more sheer, but it's still a very similar tone of vibrant hot pink, and it shifts from a more vibrant warm gold to green to teal. I'd say the shifts are a lot more prominent. I don't know if that's because the base is a little bit more sheer or what causes that. The finish is a little bit more sparkly. I'd say the particle size is about the same. It's not quite as creamy as Antares from Terra Moons. And both of these stain on me, by the way. I think any hot pink shade like this is going to stain just due to the nature of the pigment. Out of these two, I've used Antares more, but I think they're both really beautiful shades. I have a ton like this, so I could probably do, if I had more eyes, I would do all of them together, but I'm just trying to pair the most similar ones together. In the next group we have two more from Terra Moons. We have Voyager and Zenith. These are both black and teal base. They shift from hot pink to spicy orange to gold to green. These are essentially identical in the actual like multichrome pigment, if you ask me. And I wish Terra Moons would include more comparisons between their shades on the website. I mean, I've tried, but I don't know. Maybe in the future they will. Anyway, Voyager has a lot smaller of a particle size, and it's a little bit more approachable overall. The base doesn't seem to be quite as deep, and because of that smaller particle size, there's less area to reflect the light, so it's not going to be quite as shifty in practice. It's very smooth for a sparkly eyeshadow, but it's not necessarily creamy. It picks up very easily with a brush and it smooths out easily. Voyager is one of their flaky shades with a formula similar to that of the Cosmos, soft and smooths out easily and has a quite large particle size. It's a little bit more punchy and you see that base coming through a little bit more, I think because of the way the shimmer particles spread out once it's applied. So it's definitely a lot more shifty and high impact. On the eyes, I feel like Voyager reads a lot lighter overall and less colorful, but I can see that the colors are the same as in Zenith. Voyager is also a lot easier to apply in general. Okay, next we have Mystic Mountain from Terra Moons and Redox from Clionadh, which is one of their dimensionals. So Redox, this one I actually purchased myself, but then Clionadh sent me another Redox with their most recent dimensionals expansion. So that one I am giving away untouched, but just to be transparent, they did technically gift it to me, but I'm just keeping my old one that I purchased myself. Anyway, these are both smoky purples that shift from pink to gold to green. Mystic Mountain has a lot larger of a particle size. Again, it has that similar texture and finish to that of the Cosmos, that flaky, soft formula that smooths out easily, but still has a large particle size. I'd say one of the biggest differences in practice is that it has a more prominent green shift, whereas I feel like Redox just mostly goes to gold. It also is a bit more reflective and sparkly. Conversely, it's a little bit less user-friendly because that particle size is a lot larger. Redox has a slightly smaller particle size, but it still is a bit on the flakier side. It smooths out much more easily compared to Mystic Mountain, and I feel like it does read a little bit more smoky on the eyes. Both of these shades have a ton of multicolored sparkles spread throughout them, and I think they're both so beautiful. So yeah, let me know what you think, if you think they are dupes. Okay, last two, we have Painted Lady from Looxi Beauty, which is a $3 eyeshadow, by the way, and Moontide from Terra Moons. These both have a very similar purple base, and they have shifts from gold to green to teal. I'd say they both have a sparkly finish, and with Painted Lady, the gold is a lot softer. Like, it doesn't really read as a gold to me. It has visible shifts, but it's nowhere near as shifty as Moontide. Moontide is like 4 times the price, so I wouldn't expect them to perform exactly the same. The other thing with the Looxi shadows is they do feel pretty dimethicone-y, and they do tend to crease. I have not done enough wear tests of this to be able to say definitively if this one creases on me, but it's just something to be aware of. The Looxi shadows are not quite as cosmetically elegant. Like, they pick up a little chunky and they take a little bit more work to apply an even layer. But again, they're $3, sometimes $2 on sale. So it's really a matter of how important that stuff is to you. And then Moontide, this is such a classic from Terra Moons. It's a lot more dimensional and sparkly, and I do see a lot more visible shifts. You really see it go from green to teal. And you can see a lot of different multicolored flecks throughout it. I feel like the biggest difference was in the eye application. I could really see the more visible shifts in Moontide, and it looked a lot deeper on my eyes. But overall, they did read surprisingly similar. So anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know which ones you think are dupes, which ones do you think I was way off on choosing. Do you have any favorites out of the two? And also, let me know which ones I should do in my next video. I want to make this more of a regular series where I do it more frequently than I have been doing. So please let me know. I'd love to make use of my extremely large collection to be a helpful resource for you guys. So let me know what I should do in my next video. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. That way I know what to prioritize. But other than that, that's going to be it for this video. I will see you in the next one. Bye.